Hey everybody, and welcome to the 78th season of Bearcat Update. Today, I'll be updating you on how the seasons are looking for our spring sports. With the spring season in full swing, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Before we get started, we'd like to mention that both the men's and women's tennis teams have found themselves ranked in the top 25, with the women at number 8 and the men at number 18. We will have more on them next week. Now, the softball team has begun early season action on the road, with 2 tournaments under their belts already. They're off to a 5-4 start after competing at the Lone Star D2 Classic and most recently the All-V Early Classic, where they went 3-1, earning wins over Arkansas Tech, Southwest Baptist, and Truman State, with their loss coming at the hands of Southern Arkansas. Senior outfielder Omara Love has followed up her performance from last season, in which she finished second on the team in batting average with a strong start to 2026. Love currently leads the team in runs batted in, including a walk-off double in the 6-5 victory over Arkansas Tech. The Bearcats will continue tournament play next weekend in Branson. The baseball team is off to a solid 5-3 start under second-year head coach Tony Jandren. They began their season by splitting a 4-game series against Southwestern Oklahoma State before taking 3 out of 4 against Arkansas Monticello. The Bats have been active for the Bearcats, averaging 8.5 runs per game and have tallied a team batting average of .305. Arkansas State transfer Jeremiah Kabuyavan has been a welcome addition to the team, batting .450 and tallying 9 hits through 6 games. Baseball will be back on the road heading to Pueblo, Colorado to take on CSU Pueblo in a 4-game series. It was a career week for the women's basketball team as they secured 3 consecutive home wins against MIAA opponents. The Bearcats tipped off their homestand against Missouri Western, securing a season sweep of the Griffins with a 75-66 victory, powered by sophomore Kirsten Houck's career-best 26 points and 7 3-pointers. They followed up that performance by outscoring the University of Central Oklahoma 36-18 in the paint and securing their 10th home win of the season with a 57-40 victory over the Broncos. In the final leg of the homestand for the Bearcats, it was freshman guard Bailey Birmingham's turn to set a personal record as she recorded a career-high 22 points to help Northwest overcome an 11-point deficit and claim a 65-55 victory over the Rogers State Hillcats. The Bearcats now enter the final stretch of the regular season as they vie for postseason positioning. For more on the women's basketball team, our reporter Rayna Wozniak sat down with senior Ella Moody to talk about the win streak and the remainder of the season.
This is Rayna Wozniak with Bearcat Update. This week, I spoke with senior Ella Moody from the women's basketball team. After a challenging stretch of games leading into their matchup against UCM, the Bearcats faced a few tough losses and knew it was their time to reset. That mindset paid off as they turned things around with a strong win over Missouri Western.
After we played UCM, we kind of decided as a team that we needed to start like a new season for us. We needed to go and start winning these games and just turn over a new leaf, and I think we did that when we played Missouri Western, and we're 2-0 in our new season that we started, and I think that we just grew in our confidence and we came out and played hard today.
Positive energy filled the locker room at halftime as the team regrouped, re-energized, and locked in on securing the win.
We always go into the locker room and have positive about what we can do better, what we need to work on in the halftime speech. So we always just talk about what we need to work on, and we came out and we executed pretty well.
As seniors move on, Moody says leadership is shared across the team, with every player stepping up to keep the Bearcats focused and competitive throughout the season.
And we have such great underclassmen. There's a great sophomore class who's been here last year. I know there's a lot of new faces on the team this year. I think that everyone on the team is capable of being a leader on the team, and I think that we have some great teammates and great leaders.
With 7 games remaining, the Bearcats are gaining momentum following a solid victory over Central Oklahoma on Thursday as they head towards tournament play.
We're really confident going into the next 7 games. We have a lot to look forward to. We have a lot of momentum going into the next game on Saturday. I think that if we show what we can do, then we'll be fine in the next 7 games and we'll be good going into the tournament.
Best of luck to our women's basketball team as they finish out their season. This has been Rayna Wozniak with Bearcat Update. Back to you guys.
The men's basketball team was able to pick up a big 72-65 win on Thursday against a stout Central Oklahoma team. Aiden Gare led the team with 18 points, followed by Presley Ebay with 15. Northwest overcame a 33-30 halftime deficit and outscored Central Oklahoma in the second half, 42-32. The Broncos led by as many as 8 points in the second half before the Bearcats roared back to earn the 7-point victory. Unfortunately, the Bearcats were unable to build off of the previous victory, falling to Rogers State 69-77. After trailing by 21 points in the first half, the Bearcats were able to roar back and take the lead for a brief period of time before Rogers State went on a 20-11 run to end the game and claim the victory. The Bearcats will be back in action Thursday, heading to Joplin to take on Missouri Southern. Well, now we're going to take our first break of the show. When we come back, Gabe Porter and Jackson Phelps will give us their picks for the upcoming slate of MIAA and Bearcat games. We'll be right back.
Unlike other organizations on and around campus, here, the students do it all.
KNWT is a student-run and student-produced television station.
To support this content, you can go to our YouTube channel at KNWT Channel 8.
And watch the latest shows or even enjoy blasts from the past.
Oh, hey, you're here. You ready to get started? Then let's go. At KNWT, we do a lot. We have sports, news, and so much more. But you're probably wondering, well, what do we do? Well, we do promos, behind-the-scenes looks at KNWT productions, and, well, everything creative in between. So, who are we? Well, we are Creative Services.
Hey everybody, welcome to Porter's Picks. My name is Gabe Porter, and this week we'll be taking a deep dive into some MIAA basketball matchups, and our first game is going to be the Emporia State and Fort Hays State matchup. Emporia State's longest win streak was 2 games earlier this season, taking down Kansas Christian College 113-60, then the next week Sterling College 101-58. Their longest loss streak being 4 games, losing against Rockhurst, Central Missouri, number 1 ranked Washburn, and number 6 ranked Fort Hays State. On the other side of the court sits the number 6 ranked Fort Hays State Tigers. The Tigers faced off against Emporia, already winning 1 time this season, winning 73-70 in a hard-fought game with some last-minute lead changes in the fourth quarter. One of their longest win streaks this season was mid-December, winning 5 straight, beating William Jewell, MSU Denver, Regis, Northwest Missouri State, and Missouri Western. Based off stats and some previous matchups between these 2 teams, I'll take the ranked Fort Hays State Tigers 78-64. Next up is my MIAA game of the week, featuring number 4 ranked Arkansas Fort Smith versus number 1 ranked Washburn. One of the top matchups this week, Washburn is going to have to face off against a tricky Arkansas team. Arkansas Fort Smith started their season 13-0 before dropping 4 of their last 7 games. Number 1 ranked Washburn stands 22-0 on the season so far, with some of their biggest wins coming against Northwest Missouri State 94-44, 107-74 against Newman, and 115-30 against Ottawa University. As much as I would love to choose the Washburn Ichabods, I'm going to go with the Arkansas Fort Smith Lions 95-89. The Bearcat Update game of the week is going to be the Bearcats taking on the Missouri Southern Lions in Joplin. Missouri Southern currently has 4 wins over 100 points with only 1 loss, where the Lions lost 119-117 in overtime. Neither team has played each other this year, so it would be a tough matchup for the Bearcats. The Cats have struggled with in-conference play, dropping some important matchups against Missouri Western, Fort Hays State, Central Missouri, and Washburn. This will be a pivotal matchup for Northwest as they look to fight their way into Kansas City. With that, my pick is going to be the Missouri Southern Lions, and I predict they take this matchup in an 83-75 win over the Cats. That's all for Porter's Picks, and for a deeper dive into the Bearcat Update game of the week, let's throw it over to Jackson as he brings us his Bearcat breakdown.
Welcome back to another season of Bearcat Breakdown. I'm your host Jackson Phelps, and I told you guys I wasn't going anywhere. Super excited to continue to give you guys in-depth looks at Bearcat matchups this spring. Let's get it kicked off with men's basketball taking on the Missouri Southern Lions. Both the Lions and the Bearcats rank in the middle-bottom part of the MIAA standings and are on the hunt for an MIAA tournament appearance in Kansas City. Taking a look at some of the impact players for both of these teams, starting with Northwest. Royce Williams, the senior guard transfer from Southern New Hampshire, has been the anchor for the team this season. He leads the team in scoring with 13.4 points per game, and rebounding with 6.1 rebounds per game, in assists with 74, and steals with 36. A player who has recently taken form is redshirt freshman guard Lorenz Walters, who is averaging 9.2 points per game, has taken off his last 5 games, averaging 12.2 points per game, and 5 rebounds per game. Taking a turn now over to Missouri Southern, and their top scorer is senior guard Jaden Taylor, averaging 19 points per game and leads the team with 44 assists. So far this season, he has had 3 30-plus performances against Arkansas Tech, Rockhurst, and Northeastern State. Another guard standout is Gavin Elkamil. He is averaging 13.7 points per game so far and leads the team in three-point shooting with a 39% three-point percentage. He has made 3 or more three-point shots in 9 games now in a row. After taking a closer look at these two teams, I'm going to have to agree with Gabe that I do think Missouri Southern will win this matchup. The Lions rank second in the MIAA in scoring, and I think that will be the main factor in this matchup. That's been it for our first edition of Bearcat Breakdown this season, and I've been your host, Jackson Phelps. We're going to take a quick break, and when Bearcat Update comes back, I'll be joining Wiley Ray over on the Weekend Sports Report. We'll be right back.
Welcome to KZLX-LP Maryville, an independent student-run station on the campus of Northwest Missouri State University. We play non-stop top 40 hits and offer a variety of different specialty shows.
So tune in to KZLX 106.7.
Where did it go? My notebook on Northwest News has everything I need.
Is this what you're looking for? I get my news from the Northwest Missourian, or you can check them out on YouTube at KNWT TV.
Huh, okay. I guess I'll check it out.
To stay up to date in Maryville, tune into Digging Deeper with the Missourian every Monday at noon on KNWT TV.
Wait, how long have you been in my closet?
Welcome to Weekend Sports Report. I'm Wiley Ray, and joining me as always is Jackson Phelps. Let's get right into it. Cue that intro. Now, Jackson, both the men's and women's teams took home wins this week, or I shouldn't say took home, they stayed home with wins as they hosted both Rogers State and Central Oklahoma. The women's sweep the weekend as the men's split it with a win over UCO and then a loss to Rogers State on Saturday.
Yeah, this week was a really good action-packed week for Bearcat basketball. I was talking on the women's side, 2 wins both against UCO and Rogers State. They played great basketball. I would say one thing to note from the women's team is that both games they did start out a little bit slow, but who knows Austin Meyer when I don't know what he says in those halftime speeches, but it works every single time. Second half, this team looks lights out. Just some players to mention. You get people on the floor like Boston Wan, Sadie Moss down low who are grabbing those rebounds, continuing possessions as well. And then Bailey Birmingham as well. She's been lights out this week with beyond the arc and also just being able to create plays with assists and then just creating space. So I feel like the women's team has been so well-rounded. I feel like they're a team-played game. You go look at the box score, you're not going to see one superstar getting all the points. You're going to see it pretty spread out throughout the realm.
Well, now to that point, I mean, we saw Kirsten Houck against Mo West. She had 26 points, and then we're seeing Bailey Birmingham with 22. I mean, like you said, they're spreading the love and they're spreading it across the floor for each other, and that's something you love to see not only as a team, but also this time of year. You know, a lot of people say it stinks to lose in January and you want to get all your losses out before February.
Yeah.
And that really seems to be what the women's team has started to do. Let's hope they can keep that trend going.
That's right, because Kansas City's just a couple of weeks away.
Yep.
You want to win. The month of February for MIAA basketball is the most important. You want to stack your wins as much as you can, because just a berth into the MIAA tournament is the only thing you can really hope for, because any team can get hot in that tournament. We've seen crazy things happen. Pitt State last year, number 7 seed, all the way to the final, and they won the whole thing. So that is, one thing to mention. But talking about the men's team, you mentioned a huge win against UCO, but then a tough loss against Rogers State.
Yeah, you were talking about UCO and the men's team sitting 11th in the MIAA. They're knocking on the door of finding the playoffs MIAA tournament in Kansas City. So a big win and maybe going the whole weekend with 2 wins would have been even better to come out with. But definitely the win against UCO, a hard-fought win for the Bearcats. And then bouncing back from being down 21 to Rogers State to pulling it within almost 2, and even had a lead at one point late on. That's even though they lost, it's still a big win, morale-wise. It goes, hey, we can compete with anyone. We are the strongest 11 and 13 team that we've seen for a long time. And really, that's it for me. Like, I genuinely think they are a strong 11 and 13 squad.
Yeah.
That's genuinely, they have the ball, they can move it. We'll see a play later with Royce Williams and just how they're able to see the floor, they're able to see what goes on with each other, they're able to pass it around, they're able to find it. Sometimes the shots aren't always there, and sometimes you have to shoot 30 attempts to get, 20 points. But, hey, at the end of the day, you're still taking those opportunities,
right,
and those opportunities are coming to you. And at the end of the day, you can't really complain too much about it.
You really can't. I like what you mentioned against Rogers State. There was one point down 20 points, but then they brought it back to just being down by 1. Even a tough loss, it was a good battle, nonetheless.
Yeah, Jackson, who were some of your Bearcat MVPs?
Some of my Bearcat MVPs on Thursday, Royce Williams, who had 11 points, 13 rebounds, his back-to-back double-doubles from Saturday to Thursday. That'll be my Bearcat MVP.
Mine, really big one here. It's also, it's got to be Royce Williams too. Royce Williams has put up a performance, whether it's scoring or just on the boards or dishing it around. I really like how Royce has performed. And even Robbie Garcia, he is another one that I would put up there, but just the way Royce Williams as a guard can facilitate the floor. But we're going to shift into my favorite segment, Rays, Plays, and Highlights. That's right, it's back here on Weekend Sports Report, and let's kick things off with play number 1. It's this one right here, definitely a little bit of a miscue for the Bearcats offensively as Lo Prieto tries to drive. Looks like maybe she slipped a little bit. The court was a little bit slick on Thursday, but then she kicks it out to Avery Yosted for the 3. And right there, a great play of ball awareness. We're going to stop it right there as she does a good job of kicking it back out. And when she has that opportunity, Jackson, like I said, she's slipping, she's falling. And really at that moment, you got to try and kick it away, or you just have to take the turnover. And Lo Prieto did a great job of kicking it back out. But one thing I want to notice too, boom, right there, Bailey Birmingham, another shooter to where if you happen to go to your right, or if you happen to have maybe a little bit of a misjudgment on your turn, you could have kicked it back out to Birmingham for a 3. Nonetheless, let's let this thing play out a couple more times. A great court awareness for the Bearcats on this one, and we've really been seeing that all season.
Like you said, it was originally a miscue, and this Bearcat team is so good about making plays out of nothing. You have play creators like Birmingham, you mentioned, and Lo Prieto. She's done a good job as a transfer to come in and fit in Austin Meyer's offense really well. This is fundamental basketball if you're a point guard, being able to create a play whenever there seems to be nothing. Right there, she drew a double team down low. That's exactly what you want to do with the drive. And then Avery Yostin did a good job at just coming back just a couple feet on the slip screen almost, and just having a good shot. And Avery Yostin, not really a long-range shooter, it puts herself in a great position to make a great play there.
Jackson, you were I love how you mentioned driving to the hoop. We saw this a lot in the win against Central Oklahoma. The Bearcats have done a good job of contesting that paint and then kicking it out. Drive and dish. That has been the key to success for the Bearcats offense, and I really hope they stick to what they're doing, because not only does that open up the paint, eventually, with it opening up the arc, eventually it'll open up the paint.
Yeah.
You're driving, you kick it out, eventually they're going to have to play looser defense than they usually are. Therefore, it gives you that lane to drive. So now, let's take it to our second play, where it was Royce Williams with one of his many dimes. And this one, just like clockwork, you can't complain about this play, in my opinion, whatsoever. He does a good job of getting through the defenders and finding an open Bearcat for a nice bucket.
Yeah, I like what you said there. This is a good classic play, ring around the rosy type of pass. All they're wanting to do is to get the forwards that are down low to move in a circle. So Osa is originally out on the right side wing, but his job is to come down and kind of evade the defender down low. He wants to get his back turned towards him. So Osa, all he has to do is come around his hip. And like you see right here, there is nobody there. And a great court awareness, like you said, by Royce. And to be able to pass in 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders around him, gets the pass away. Almost Jason Williams-esque as well. Pass first, that's what Royce does. He is a play creator. He doesn't do it all himself, and he is, quite frankly, one of the best point guards that I've seen play basketball here in a little bit.
Well, you know, one thing to also mention too, you mentioned it, how he had the defense crash in the pocket or crash in the paint. If he does that and doesn't see Osan, he's got Gare, he's got other guys around the perimeter who can pump fake and drive, or just like Aiden Gare is known for, shooting that deep ball when he needs to. But, you know, Jackson, this reminds me of a familiar Bearcat that I've seen on the floor before. Mr. Bennett Sturts.
Yes.
I think it was maybe a year or two ago. I saw Bennett Sturts with the same exact wraparound pass to, at the time, Trey Mawala, who's still on this team.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, still a great play by Royce Williams. And you were talking about, this is probably one of the better guards we've seen here in a while, and just the facilitation he has on the floor. He's able to move the ball around, but he's also not afraid to go to the paint, get a rebound, and that's what we saw. You know, we saw 11 rebounds, 7 points from him in Saturday's loss to Rogers State, but Royce Williams still maintaining those rebounds, especially as a shorter guard.
Like you mentioned, almost a double-double on Saturday. He had a double-double on Thursday in this game against UCO, and he also had one on Saturday. So he was on pace to have back-to-back-to-back double-doubles in the 3-game stretch here to start the month of February, and you cannot ask for a better point guard than that. So I've loved to watch Royce play, and he has done a heck of a job this season.
And you know, Jackson, you're just talking about it's a great time for teams to be hitting their stride in February. The Bearcats have definitely been hungry. So let's take a look at play number 3 as the Bearcats were able to eat some W's this weekend. That'll do it for this edition of Weekend Sports Report. We'll be back next week. We're going to take our final break of the show. We'll be back in a minute with more Bearcat Update.
Gabe, did you hear the news? New Game Plus is coming back with a season 2.
More like season new.
This season, we're switching things up with a fresh coat of paint
and a fresh crew of packs.
We've got it all from tech history to the hidden secrets of your average console.
And don't forget about our wacky shenanigans.
So make sure to catch New Game Plus Season 2.
Tuesdays at noon on KNWT. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Earlier this week, our reporter Cayden Simpson sat down with men's basketball forward Booker Shireman. Shireman is a freshman from Aurora, Nebraska. He talks about his journey to Northwest, what it's like to have a brother in the NBA, and more. Here's a quick look at that interview.
Welcome back to another Bearcat exclusive interview. Today I'm here with Booker Shireman, who is a freshman here on the Northwest basketball team. So the first thing I wanted to touch on was recruitment. What was the recruitment process like, and what brought you to Northwest?
Yeah, my recruitment process was pretty good. I had a lot of different schools reach out to me. I had UNK, Wayne State, a couple D1s, but at the end of the day, I felt most home here at Northwest, just the environment Coach Keeley and his staff brought, and it just felt like home right from the jump, so that's why I came here.
And over your first season here, who has been the biggest mentor? Which player on the team or coach or somebody that's really helped you in your first year?
Biggest mentor to me is probably Royce Williams. I mean, he knows the game really well, and he's just given me a little bit of insight in what he sees and helping me, grow in my IQ of the game. So.
Has there been one specific piece of advice that he's given you that is just really sticks and is something that you're gonna think about in the future?
No, not really. I mean, nothing that comes to mind right away. I mean, he just gives a lot of different insight. I mean, whether it's just me rolling harder or just being ready to shoot, catch and shoot, I mean, stuff like that.
And then, so your brother is in the NBA, correct?
Yes.
And what is that like, you know?
I mean, it's really cool. I mean, growing up, you know, it's always your dream to go into the NBA, and, you know, having a brother that was able to achieve that dream is pretty cool. And I mean, we talk all the time. He's one of my best friends, and he gives me a lot of great insight. So, you know, having that support system in my pocket is great.
Is there anything you've learned from him specifically? Like, is there anything you want to, like, you know, recreate of what's something that he's done?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like me and him have a similar play style. I mean, we like to shoot the three, obviously, but we can handle the ball and get others involved. And I mean, he's taught me a lot. I mean, he's taught me how to, you know, read the defenses, have short roll, hit the short roll, stuff like that. So,
did he influence you to get into the game, or was there another story behind that?
I mean, yeah, I would say so. I mean, growing up, we always played sports, whether it was football or basketball, but, you know, basketball was just something that we always did growing up. So I'd say that's what really influenced me playing basketball.
And then my last question for you is, what do you think, what's one thing the fans need to know about you?
Shoot, that's a great question. I like to celebrate. You know, if we do something good, I'm going to be out there on the court celebrating, and I feel like I have a lot of swagger out there, so I bring a lot of swagger in. I mean, I just like to have fun and put on a show, so.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Before we go today, we'd like to leave you with a couple stories of local interest. With Maryville High School claiming 5 state titles and the Bearcats' 6 national championships being the most in Division II, it's safe to say that the city of Maryville is no stranger to championship football. One player whose name is etched in Maryville football history is Jalen Sundell. As a senior, Sundell was part of the Spoof Hounds' 2017 state championship team. He then moved on to play college football at North Dakota State University, where he was a 3-time FCS national champion and was recognized as a first-team All-American in his senior season. Despite going undrafted in 2024, he was able to make the Seahawks roster and appeared in 12 games as a rookie. At the beginning of the season, Sundell was named starting center and is now making the biggest start of his career on the biggest stage in football tonight, as the Seattle Seahawks take on the New England Patriots. While we're here at Bearcat Update, we love sports for their emotion, the highlights, and the thrill of watching the team pull off a close win. The true beauty of sports does, however, lie in being able to bring people together. Recently, Bearcat Nation came together to show their support for 2 families who have endured hardship. Our reporter Destiny McDonald has more on those stories.
On any given day at Northwest Missouri State University, Bearcat Athletics brings fans together for competition. But this week, the Northwest community rallied together here at Bearcat Arena to show it's about way more than the numbers on the scoreboard. Bearcat fans flooded the stands with seas of red and pink in support of 2 families facing battles far bigger than basketball. Thursday evening, the Northwest men's and women's basketball teams hosted the University of Central Oklahoma for a conference matchup. Players and fans showed up wearing red in support of Jacob Walter, a young boy fighting heart disease. For many students in Maryville, Jacob isn't just someone they're supporting from afar. He's a classmate, a friend, someone they see all year long. Classmates Thatcher and Liam Murphy talk about their friendship with Jacob and how they're supporting him during this time.
Jacob, as a friend to me, he's kind, he's funny, and he's super smart.
Thatcher says he's funny, he likes to tell jokes, hang out with friends.
Our teacher sent him some books, like a coloring kit, and and he loved all the cards our class made him, and he loved the video we made for him for our class.
Yeah, we're all rooting for him. We're all wishing him well.
At such a young age, Jacob's journey has already left a lasting impact not just on his classmates, but the entire campus rallying behind him. Just 2 days later, the color red faded to pink. Saturday afternoon, the men's and women's teams hosted another doubleheader, this time against Rogers State. This game honored the Henry family and raised awareness for the fight against breast cancer, a disease that has touched countless families in this community. Pink filled the stands, symbolizing strength and hope, but more importantly, that no one fights alone. Coach Meyer reflects on playing for a cause and what these games mean to the program.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great opportunity. Obviously, you're raising awareness. We're honoring the Henry family, which is, obviously is a big part of our program with Mary being a former player and with Teresa's battle. Teresa, one that we honored today, you see her in the crowd, she's always happy. She's always excited. You can tell she's making today the best day possible, and she's going through a lot. So I think just kind of seeing those things and seeing the bigger picture is a big deal. We have great support here at Northwest Missouri State and within our community, so it's always fun to get people in the gym and get the energy going, and obviously we're always thinking and praying for those individuals that are going through things.
4 games, 2 causes, 1 community. From spreading heart disease awareness to the fight against breast cancer, this week proved that the greatest victories don't always come from the shots at the buzzer or the trophies on display. Sometimes the most meaningful wins come from the crowd dressed in colors of red and pink, standing for something much bigger than the game. Because when the Northwest community comes together, culture wins.
Thanks, Destiny. Now that's all the time we have for today. I'm your host, Hayden Lavaley, and this has been Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We're live every Sunday at 2, and you can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV. Along with Bearcat Update, you can watch KNWT's other content. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back in no time.